The ancient art of astrology reveals powerful truths about human nature, some inspiring, others cautionary. Among the 12 celestial archetypes that govern our world, one sign stands apart as particularly formidable. Capricorn, the mountain goat, embodies a dangerous combination of patience, strategy, and unwavering ambition that makes them the Zodiac's most formidable force. When you encounter a Capricorn in your life, you're meeting someone who operates differently than most. They move through the world with quiet confidence, observing everything while revealing little. That colleague who remembers every detail from a meeting 6 months ago, the friend who never seems rattled by chaos, the partner who can wait years to achieve a goal. These are the hallmarks of Capricorn energy at work. What makes them truly dangerous isn't aggression or volatility, traits often associated with more fiery signs. No, Capricorn's power lies in their methodical approach to accumulating influence. They understand something fundamental about success that eludes many. True power isn't claimed in dramatic gestures, but built through consistent, disciplined action over time. The Capricorn native enters rooms without demanding attention, yet somehow leaves having made the strongest impression. They speak less but say more. They don't chase opportunities frantically. Instead, opportunities eventually find their way to them through strategic positioning and earned respect. This patient approach makes them nearly impossible to outmaneuver in any significant life arena. Consider how Capricorns handle adversity. While other signs might crumble under pressure or lash out impulsively, the mountain goat simply adjusts their footing and continues climbing. This resilience isn't just admirable, it's terrifying to those who oppose them. Every setback becomes a lesson. Every failure transforms into fuel. They remember slights for years, not out of petty vindictiveness, but because their memory serves their long-term strategy. The universe has imbued Capricorns with an almost supernatural ability to delay gratification. In a world obsessed with instant results, this capacity gives them an extraordinary advantage. While others exhaust themselves chasing quick wins, Capricorns invest in foundations that will support empires. They understand that the most valuable rewards require patience and persistence, qualities they possess in abundance. Watch closely how Capricorns navigate relationships. They don't reveal themselves easily, preferring to learn others' motivations, strengths, and weaknesses before showing their own cards. This creates an information imbalance that consistently works in their favor. By the time you think you understand a Capricorn, they've already mapped your entire psychological landscape. The dangerous power of Capricorn energy exists in both constructive and destructive forms. At its best, it creates visionary leaders who transform industries and inspire generations. At its worst, it produces calculating strategists who accumulate power for its own sake, regardless of collateral damage. The line between these expressions is thinner than most realize. What's particularly fascinating about Capricorns is how they blend tradition with innovation. They respect established systems enough to master them from within, yet possess the vision to transform those same systems when necessary. This paradoxical nature makes them difficult to categorize and even harder to counter. Have you ever witnessed the quiet determination in a Capricorn's eyes when they've set their mind to something? There's something almost unsettling about their certainty, a knowledge that nothing will deter them from their chosen path. This unwavering focus is what allows them to accomplish what others consider impossible. As we explore the 12 specific reasons why Capricorns are the Zodiac's most dangerous sign, you'll gain insight into how to recognize, respect, and perhaps even harness some of this formidable energy in your own life. What makes them truly powerful isn't just isolated traits, but how these qualities work together in perfect harmony to create a force of nature disguised in human form. Let's begin by examining the strategic mind that makes Capricorns such masterful long-term players in the game of life. Reason number 1, strategic patience that borders on supernatural. The Capricorn's ability to wait is not merely a personality trait, it's a superpower. While the modern world rewards speed and instant gratification, the mountain goat operates on a different timeline altogether. They understand something profound about achievement that eludes most. The most valuable victories require extended cultivation. A Capricorn can conceive of a plan in January, lay groundwork in April, create contingencies in August, and execute flawlessly in December of the following year. This extended timeline thinking gives them an almost unfair advantage in every competitive arena they enter. Consider how a Capricorn approaches career advancement. While colleagues frantically chase promotions through obvious channels, the Capricorn identifies structural patterns within the organization. They methodically strengthen critical relationships, accumulate unique skills, and position themselves at informational crossroads. 3 years later, when an opportunity emerges that nobody anticipated, the Capricorn is somehow the only perfectly positioned candidate. This wasn't luck. It was strategic patience manifested through dozens of seemingly unrelated decisions. What makes this patience truly dangerous is how it's camouflaged beneath an exterior of pragmatic productivity. Capricorns don't appear to be waiting. They remain busy, useful, and engaged. This disguises their true timeline, allowing them to operate unseen while others underestimate their ambitions. By the time you realize a Capricorn has been orchestrating a complex strategy, their position is already unassailable. Their patience extends beyond professional spheres into every life domain. In relationships, they observe partners for months before revealing vulnerabilities. In investments, they can hold positions through market turbulence that would break less disciplined signs. In conflicts, they can outlast opponents through sheer endurance. This supernatural patience means Capricorns rarely need to resort to dramatic confrontations. They simply wait until circumstances align in their favor. Reason number 2, unshakable determination that transforms obstacles into stepping stones. When a Capricorn commits to a goal, they fuse with it on an almost molecular level. What appears as mere persistence to outside observers is actually something far more profound, a complete psychological inability to abandon their chosen path. Where other signs might interpret setbacks as signs to redirect their energy, Capricorns see only temporary obstacles requiring adjustment. This determination creates an almost inexorable forward momentum that accumulates power over time. The dangerous quality of Capricorn determination lies in its cold rationality. They don't maintain course through emotional attachment to outcomes, but through calculated certainty about their eventual success. They analyze failures with clinical detachment, extract valuable lessons, and immediately implement adjustments. This continuous refinement process makes them virtually unstoppable once they've gained momentum. Witness a Capricorn who has decided to master a skill, build a business, or transform a relationship. Their determination manifests as a relentless daily discipline that compounds exponentially. While others chase motivation through external validation, Capricorns generate it internally through unwavering commitment to their vision. They understand intuitively that success isn't achieved through occasional heroic efforts, but through consistent application of focused energy. What truly separates Capricorn determination from mere stubbornness is their strategic flexibility within unwavering commitment. They remain absolutely fixed on destinations while continuously adapting their routes. This allows them to navigate around obstacles that would stop others completely. A Capricorn denied access through the front door will systematically try every window, check the basement, inspect the roof, or simply wait until the building's ownership changes, all while never losing sight of their original objective. Reason number 3, calculated risk assessment that eliminates fatal errors. The third reason Capricorns emerge as the Zodiac's most dangerous sign lies in their extraordinary capacity for risk evaluation. Unlike impulsive fire signs or idealistic air signs, Capricorns possess an almost supernatural ability to detect potential pitfalls before committing resources. They instinctively run complex probabilistic scenarios through their minds, weighing variables that others completely overlook. This calculated approach to risk creates an asymmetric advantage in everything they pursue. While competitors make critical errors through hasty decisions, Capricorns maintain steady progress through meticulous evaluation. They understand that success often depends less on brilliant moves than on avoiding catastrophic mistakes. This risk intelligence allows them to preserve resources and momentum while watching others self-destruct through preventable errors. The truly formidable aspect of Capricorn risk assessment is how it balances caution with opportunity recognition. They aren't paralyzed by fear. They simply demand sufficient information before commitment. Once satisfied with their analysis, they execute with remarkable decisiveness. This creates the paradoxical Capricorn reputation, perceived as conservative by some, yet recognized as boldly ambitious by those who understand their methodology. Observe a Capricorn evaluating a major life decision, whether changing careers, relocating cities, or ending a relationship. They systematically gather relevant data, consult trusted advisors, analyze potential outcomes, and prepare contingency plans. This comprehensive approach might appear unnecessarily thorough to others, but it virtually eliminates the possibility of regrettable decisions. By the time a Capricorn commits to action, they've already visualized and prepared for multiple possible futures. Their risk intelligence extends beyond obvious dangers to subtle threats that others miss entirely. They detect early warning signs in organizational politics, relationship dynamics, and market trends that remain invisible to less perceptive signs. This allows them to protect their interests through preemptive positioning rather than reactive scrambling. By the time others recognize a problem, the Capricorn has already implemented their solution. What makes this calculated approach truly dangerous is how it compounds over time. Each successfully navigated risk strengthens their decision-making framework, refines their pattern recognition, and builds their confidence. A mature Capricorn possesses an almost oracular ability to distinguish genuine opportunities from attractive distractions. They consistently make decisions that appear brilliant in retrospect, but were simply the product of thorough analysis. The strategic patience, unshakable determination, and calculated risk assessment of Capricorns create a formidable foundation for their power. These three qualities alone would make them dangerous competitors in any arena, but they represent merely the beginning of the Capricorn arsenal. Their true strength emerges when these foundational traits combine with their emotional intelligence, allowing them to navigate social landscapes with the same precision they apply to practical challenges. As we'll explore next, Capricorns possess an extraordinary capacity for emotional control that makes them masters of interpersonal strategy. While their practical abilities earn respect, their emotional intelligence secures power through an unmatched understanding of human psychology. Reason number 4, elite emotional control that reveals nothing until the perfect moment. Unlike the transparent emotional displays of water signs or the expressive passion of fire signs, Capricorns possess an extraordinary ability to regulate their emotional state with almost mechanical precision. This isn't mere stoicism, it's strategic emotional deployment. A Capricorn experiences feelings as intensely as any other sign, but treats them as private resources rather than public exhibitions. They understand intuitively that emotional revelation creates vulnerability, and vulnerability is a tactical disadvantage they rarely afford themselves. Watch a Capricorn in a high-stakes negotiation or conflict situation. While others telegraph their desires through unconscious signals, nervous laughter, shifted posture, dilated pupils, the Capricorn maintains perfect composure. This controlled exterior creates an information vacuum that others instinctively attempt to fill, often revealing their own positions in the process. The Capricorn gives nothing away while collecting valuable intelligence about everyone else in the room. What makes this emotional control truly dangerous is its selective application. Capricorns aren't emotionally repressed. They're emotionally strategic. They can display warmth, enthusiasm, or concern when it serves their purposes, then return to neutral without the emotional hangover that plagues more expressive signs. This ability to compartmentalize feelings allows them to maintain focus on long-term objectives, regardless of short-term emotional turbulence. The Capricorn's emotional mastery extends beyond self-regulation to perfect timing. They instinctively recognize pivotal moments when emotional disclosure creates maximum impact. A well-timed display of disappointment from a typically reserved Capricorn carries devastating weight. A rare moment of expressed enthusiasm signals profound approval. This selective emotional revelation becomes a powerful influence tool precisely because of its scarcity. Most impressively, Capricorns maintain this emotional discipline even under extreme pressure. While others crack during crisis, revealing weaknesses and fears, the Capricorn often becomes more controlled as circumstances deteriorate. This creates an aura of unshakable confidence that naturally positions them as leaders during turbulent periods. Their emotional stability becomes a gravitational center around which others instinctively organize. Reason number 5, hierarchical mastery that positions them at critical power nodes. The fifth dangerous quality of Capricorns is their intuitive understanding of organizational structures and power dynamics. While other ambitious signs might focus on visible achievements or public recognition, Capricorns possess an almost supernatural ability to identify the true power centers within any system. They recognize that formal titles often mask actual influence patterns and adjust their strategies accordingly. This hierarchical intelligence manifests as an unerring instinct for strategic positioning. A Capricorn rarely wastes energy pursuing prestigious but powerless roles. Instead, they gravitate toward positions that control critical resources, information flows, or decision gateways. They understand that real power often resides in unassuming corners of organizations: the executive assistant who controls access, the operations manager who implements policy, the finance director who allocates resources. What makes their hierarchical mastery particularly dangerous is its patient application. Capricorns don't demand immediate authority. They methodically accumulate influence through strategic relationship building and competence demonstration. They create networks of obligation through selective assistance, establish expertise through consistent delivery, and build reputations for reliability that make them indispensable to actual decision makers. Observe how Capricorns navigate organizational transitions. While others panic during leadership changes or structural reorganizations, Capricorns quickly map the emerging power landscape and adjust their positioning accordingly. This adaptability allows them to maintain influence regardless of formal hierarchy shifts. By the time others have understood the new organizational reality, the Capricorn has already secured their position within it. Their hierarchical mastery extends beyond professional environments to all social structures. In family systems, community organizations, or friend groups, Capricorns naturally gravitate toward positions of quiet influence. They rarely seek official leadership unless it confers actual power, preferring to operate from positions of genuine but often invisible authority. This creates the paradoxical situation where everyone knows the Capricorn's opinion carries weight, yet few can explain exactly why. Perhaps most impressively, Capricorns achieve this hierarchical positioning without triggering the defensive responses that overt power-seeking typically generates. Their influence accumulates so gradually and naturally that others often place them in positions of authority voluntarily, without recognizing the careful groundwork the Capricorn has laid. By the time a Capricorn holds genuine power, their position appears inevitable rather than calculated. Reason number 6, selective trust that creates profound information asymmetry. The sixth quality that makes Capricorns dangerously powerful is their discriminating approach to personal disclosure and trust. Unlike more transparent signs who build connections through mutual vulnerability, Capricorns maintain careful information boundaries that create significant strategic advantages. They operate on the principle that information is currency, something to be invested carefully rather than spent freely. This selective trust manifests as extraordinary discretion about personal matters, professional challenges, and future intentions. A Capricorn reveals themselves in carefully measured increments, assessing responses before proceeding further. This creates relationships characterized by information asymmetry. The Capricorn typically knows far more about others than others know about them. This imbalance provides consistent tactical advantages in negotiation, conflict resolution, and opportunity pursuit. What makes this selective trust particularly powerful is how it coexists with apparent openness. Capricorns aren't obviously secretive. They simply share non-critical information freely while protecting truly significant details. They might discuss their weekend plans extensively while revealing nothing about their career aspirations. They'll participate in office conversations while carefully omitting relevant personal context. This creates an illusion of transparency that masks their actual informational boundaries. The Capricorns' trust selectivity extends beyond verbal disclosure to observational patterns. They listen more than they speak, watch more than they act, and absorb more than they reveal. This receptive posture encourages others to fill conversational space with revelations, while the Capricorn collects valuable insights. By the time others realize how little they know about the Capricorn, the information differential has become nearly insurmountable. Most importantly, Capricorns apply different disclosure standards to different relationship categories. They maintain clear mental classifications: acquaintances, colleagues, friends, intimates, with specific information boundaries for each. Information shared with one category rarely leaks to another, creating segmented knowledge spheres that prevent complete understanding by any single individual. Even long-term partners or close friends might be surprised to discover aspects of the Capricorn revealed in professional contexts. This selective trust creates a fascinating paradox at the heart of Capricorn relationships. While they maintain strict information boundaries, they also inspire extraordinary confidence from others. Something about their contained presence encourages disclosure, creating relationships where others feel deeply understood while realizing they don't fully understand the Capricorn. This one-way vulnerability flow becomes a source of subtle but significant relational power. The combination of elite emotional control, hierarchical mastery, and selective trust forms the interpersonal foundation of Capricorn power. These qualities allow them to navigate social landscapes with remarkable effectiveness, accumulating influence while minimizing vulnerability. However, these interpersonal advantages represent only half of their dangerous toolkit. Equally important is their approach to resource management, the practical foundation that supports their strategic operations. As we'll explore next, Capricorns possess an extraordinary ability to accumulate and deploy resources of all kinds. They approach wealth, connections, and knowledge as practical tools rather than status symbols, creating material foundations that support their long-term ambitions. This pragmatic resource orientation forms the tangible backbone of their formidable power. Reason number 7, resource accumulation as strategic weaponry. Capricorns approach resources with a perspective fundamentally different from other signs. Where fire signs might pursue wealth for status, water signs for security, or air signs for freedom, Capricorns recognize something more profound. Every resource represents potential energy that can be converted into strategic advantage. This perspective transforms how they acquire, preserve, and deploy everything from financial assets to professional connections to specialized knowledge. The Capricorn's resource philosophy centers on consistent accumulation rather than dramatic acquisition. They build wealth through disciplined saving rather than speculative gambles. They expand networks through genuine value provision rather than superficial charm. They develop knowledge through systematic study rather than inspired intuition. This methodical approach creates resource pools of extraordinary depth and reliability, foundations that support ambitious long-term operations. What makes their resource accumulation truly dangerous is its deliberate inconspicuousness. Capricorns rarely display their full financial capacity, social influence, or intellectual depth. They understand intuitively that visible resources attract attention, and attention creates vulnerability. A Capricorn millionaire might drive a modest vehicle, maintain a comfortable but unassuming home, and dress well but not ostentatiously. This understated presentation masks their true capacity until strategic deployment becomes necessary. Observe a Capricorn's approach to financial resources. While others expand lifestyle with increasing income, Capricorns maintain significant gaps between earning and spending. They build substantial reserves, create multiple income streams, and establish financial buffers that can weather extended disruption. This creates both defensive security and offensive capability, the ability to survive contraction while capitalizing on opportunities that require immediate liquidity. Their resource command extends beyond personal assets to organizational resources. Capricorns in leadership positions apply the same accumulation philosophy to departments, teams, and companies. They build robust operational reserves, create redundant capacity in critical functions, and establish resource cushions that support bold initiatives. This creates organizations with unusual resilience and strategic flexibility, entities that can survive challenges that destroy less prepared competitors. Perhaps most impressively, Capricorns view themselves as renewable resources requiring careful management. They protect their energy through boundaries, preserve their reputation through consistent delivery, and maintain their health through disciplined habits. This self-stewardship ensures their personal capacity remains available for crucial moments. When others have exhausted themselves through unsustainable patterns, the Capricorn remains effective and focused, precisely when competitive advantage matters most. Reason number 8, pragmatic morality that transcends conventional limitations. The 8th dangerous quality of Capricorns involves their relationship with ethical frameworks. Unlike idealistic signs that adhere to abstract principles regardless of consequences, Capricorns apply outcome-oriented ethics that prioritize effectiveness over conventional morality. This doesn't make them immoral, it makes them pragmatically moral, willing to make difficult choices when necessary to achieve important objectives. This pragmatic approach manifests as ethical flexibility within core boundaries. Capricorns maintain fundamental principles that remain inviolable, but outside these essential limits, they adjust ethical applications based on contextual realities. They recognize that real-world situations often present imperfect choices rather than clear right-wrong dichotomies. This nuanced perspective allows them to navigate complex ethical terrain that paralyzes more rigidly principled signs. What makes their pragmatic morality particularly dangerous is its unsentimental clarity. Capricorns can make difficult decisions without the emotional turbulence that clouds judgment. They can implement necessary but painful changes, deliver uncomfortable truths, or enforce consequential boundaries without being derailed by guilt or self-doubt. This emotional steadiness during ethical challenges creates decisive action where others might remain paralyzed by conflicting values. Consider how Capricorns handle leadership responsibilities during crisis periods. While others might protect team morale through reassuring falsehoods, Capricorns typically deliver unvarnished reality coupled with actionable direction. They understand that temporary discomfort often prevents catastrophic outcomes. This willingness to accept short-term relational tension to ensure long-term viability represents pragmatic morality at its most effective. Their ethical pragmatism extends beyond professional contexts to personal relationships. Capricorns prioritize substantive integrity over procedural nicety. They prefer difficult honesty to comforting deception, practical support to symbolic gestures, and consistent reliability to dramatic expressions. This creates relationships built on fundamental trust rather than social performance, connections that weather serious challenges that destroy more superficially pleasant arrangements. Importantly, Capricorn's pragmatic morality doesn't mean ethical corner-cutting for personal advantage. Rather, it reflects a sophisticated understanding that genuine morality involves accepting responsibility for outcomes, not just intentions. They recognize that maintaining ethical purity at the expense of practical effectiveness often represents moral abdication rather than moral superiority. This outcomes-focused integrity makes them dangerous opponents for those who weaponize moral rhetoric while avoiding responsibility for results. Reason number 9, pattern recognition that exposes systemic vulnerabilities. The 9th quality that makes Capricorns formidable is their extraordinary capacity to identify patterns and structures invisible to others. While fire signs might recognize interpersonal dynamics and water signs might perceive emotional undercurrents, Capricorns detect systemic architectures. the underlying frameworks that determine how organizations, relationships, and processes actually function beneath surface appearances. This pattern recognition manifests as an almost supernatural ability to identify points of leverage within complex systems. A Capricorn instinctively discerns where minimal input can produce maximal output. The organizational bottlenecks, decision gateways, and influence nodes that control larger outcomes. This allows them to achieve disproportionate impact through precisely targeted action rather than brute force application of resources. What makes their pattern recognition truly dangerous is its predictive capacity. Capricorns don't merely understand current system states. They anticipate future developments based on structural tendencies. They recognize that organizational cultures, relationship dynamics, and market forces follow predictable trajectories when certain conditions exist. This foresight allows them to position themselves advantageously for developments others won't recognize until already underway. Observe a Capricorn analyzing an underperforming organization. While others focus on visible symptoms, missed deadlines, budget overruns, communication failures, the Capricorn identifies underlying structural causes, misaligned incentives, information bottlenecks, decision authority disconnected from implementation responsibility. This root cause perspective allows them to implement transformative solutions while others apply superficial fixes to symptom manifestations. Their pattern recognition extends beyond organizational context to interpersonal dynamics. Capricorns quickly identify relationship patterns, communication habits, and influence structures within social groups. They notice which team members function as information hubs, which colleagues possess informal authority, and which relationships contain unacknowledged dependencies. This social structural awareness allows them to navigate group dynamics with remarkable effectiveness. Most impressively, Capricorns apply pattern recognition to themselves, identifying their own behavioral tendencies, psychological triggers, and performance limitations. This self-awareness creates opportunities for deliberate development rather than reactive adjustment. Where others repeatedly encounter the same personal challenges through unconscious patterns, Capricorns methodically address root causes through structural self-modification. The resource accumulation, pragmatic morality, and pattern recognition abilities of Capricorns create a practical foundation for sustained influence. These qualities allow them to build material capacity, make difficult decisions, and identify leverage points that support their strategic objectives. However, these practical advantages represent only part of their dangerous toolkit. Equally important is their approach to authority, the leadership presence that allows them to convert capacity into impact. As we explore in our next section, Capricorns possess an extraordinary ability to command respect without demanding attention. They project authority through substance rather than style, maintain clarity during crisis, and adapt to changing circumstances without losing core identity. This leadership capacity transforms their accumulated resources and strategic intelligence into tangible, real-world impact. Reason number 10, silent authority that commands without demanding. The true nature of power rarely announces itself. This principle finds its purest embodiment in the Capricorn's approach to authority, a presence so naturally commanding that it requires no external validation. Unlike Leo's charismatic leadership or Aries' forceful direction, Capricorn authority operates through gravitational pull rather than propulsive push. They don't demand attention. They attract it through the undeniable substance of their presence. This silent authority manifests through consistent competence rather than declarative statements. Capricorns establish leadership through reliable execution, thoughtful analysis, and measured judgment. They understand intuitively that claimed authority diminishes itself, while demonstrated authority perpetually compounds. A Capricorn rarely announces their expertise. They simply apply it with such natural fluency that others naturally defer to their judgment. What makes their silent authority particularly dangerous is its invisibility to conventional power analysis. Organizations attempting to map influence structures often miss Capricorn power nodes entirely because they seek formal titles, vocal presence, or visible authority symbols. Meanwhile, the Capricorn quietly shapes decisions through respected input, strategic connections, and position-day expertise. By the time others recognize the Capricorn's influence, it has often become institutionally integrated. Observe how Capricorns operate in group discussions. While more demonstrative personalities compete for airtime and attention, the Capricorn listens attentively, speaks selectively, and contributes substantively. Their comments typically synthesize previous perspectives while advancing discussion toward resolution. This focused contribution style creates disproportionate impact. A single Capricorn statement often carries more weight than extended arguments from more verbose participants. Their authority extends beyond verbal contribution to physical presence. Capricorns cultivate a composed demeanor that communicates stability through body language, measured speech patterns, and controlled emotional expression. This embodied solidity creates an almost subliminal signal of reliability that others instinctively trust. During organizational turbulence, people naturally gravitate toward Capricorn stability, seeking direction without consciously recognizing their own movement. Perhaps most significantly, Capricorns maintain authority boundaries that prevent dilution through overextension. They decline leadership in areas outside their expertise, maintain selective participation in initiatives, and focus influence on matters aligned with their core objectives. This discernment preserves their authority capital for deployment in truly consequential contexts. When a typically reserved Capricorn forcefully advocates a position, the rarity of such intervention gives their perspective extraordinary weight. Reason number 11. Crisis resilience that converts disaster into opportunity. The 11th quality that makes Capricorns dangerously powerful is their exceptional performance under pressure. While many signs possess situational strengths, Capricorns demonstrate a unique capacity to maintain functional clarity during chaotic circumstances. As organizational structures collapse, emotional stability deteriorates, and available information fragments, the Capricorn's inherent order creation faculty emerges with remarkable potency. This crisis resilience manifests through immediate psychological stabilization. Where others experience cognitive narrowing under threat, Capricorns often report expanded awareness and accelerated processing. Their mental architecture seems specifically designed for high-stakes decision-making, capable of absorbing complex information, evaluating multiple scenarios, and implementing decisive action while maintaining situational awareness. This cognitive performance creates a functional monopoly on effective leadership during crisis periods. What makes their crisis resilience particularly dangerous is its opportunity orientation. Capricorns don't merely survive disasters, they leverage them. They recognize that system disruption creates unique possibilities, accelerated change implementation, competitive advantage through superior recovery, and strategic repositioning, while others remain reactive. This transformative perspective converts circumstances that devastate competitors into catalysts for Capricorn advancement. Consider how Capricorns navigate market downturns, organizational restructuring, or relationship conflicts. While others focus exclusively on damage mitigation, Capricorns simultaneously implement protection measures while identifying emerging opportunities. They maintain operational continuity while redesigning for future advantage. They preserve essential value while eliminating previously untouchable inefficiencies. This dual-track processing allows them to emerge from crisis periods stronger than they entered, often significantly outpacing peers who focused solely on survival. Their crisis resilience extends beyond professional context to personal challenges. Capricorns process health setbacks, relationship disruptions, and financial reversals with remarkable psychological integration. They acknowledge reality without surrendering to it, experience emotion without being consumed by it, and maintain long-term perspective without denying short-term difficulty. This balanced response prevents the secondary damage that often exceeds primary impacts when others catastrophize challenges. Most impressively, Capricorns apply crisis resilience preventatively through scenario planning and systems design. They anticipate potential disruptions, create response protocols, and build organizational redundancies before emergencies materialize. This preparation creates significant advantages when crises eventually emerge. While others improvise emergency responses, Capricorns implement pre-formulated strategies, capturing opportunities that remain invisible to organizations in reactive mode. Reason number 12, transformative adaptability that ensures evolutionary survival. The final and perhaps most dangerous Capricorn quality subverts their reputation entirely. Despite being widely perceived as the Zodiac's most rigid sign, mature Capricorns demonstrate extraordinary adaptive capacity when circumstances demand fundamental change. They maintain unwavering commitment to core objectives while demonstrating remarkable flexibility about methods, structures, and identities used to achieve them. This transformative adaptability manifests through periodic reinvention rather than continuous adjustment. Capricorns tend to operate within stable systems until environmental shifts render existing approaches non-viable. At these inflection points, they demonstrate capacity for complete metamorphosis, changing careers, restructuring organizations, relocating geographies, or reimagining identities with surprising thoroughness. This revolutionary adaptation contrasts with the incremental adjustments preferred by more flexible-seeming signs. What makes their transformative adaptability particularly dangerous is its preservation of accumulated advantages. When Capricorns evolve, they maintain their essential resources, knowledge foundations, relationship networks, financial reserves, and reputation assets. This allows them to enter new contexts with significant transferred power rather than starting from baseline positions. Their transformations represent domain shifts rather than capacity reductions. Observe how Capricorns navigate technological disruption, cultural evolution, or paradigm shifts. Rather than defending established positions against inevitable change, they methodically evaluate emerging landscapes, identify viable positions within new systems, and execute calculated transitions. This strategic adaptation allows them to maintain relevance and influence across environments that render others obsolete. A Capricorn who mastered traditional hierarchies can become equally effective in decentralized networks through deliberate evolution. Their adaptability extends beyond external presentation to internal psychology. Capricorns demonstrate remarkable capacity to update mental models, adopt new conceptual frameworks, and integrate contradictory information when evidence requires it. This cognitive flexibility prevents the intellectual calcification that often undermines established experts during paradigm shifts. While others remain committed to disproven models, Capricorns recalibrate their understanding to align with emerging reality. Most significantly, Capricorn adaptability manifests through generational relevance. They demonstrate unusual capacity to maintain influence across multiple cultural epochs, technological revolutions, and social transformations. This sustained impact often reflects deliberate effort. Capricorns typically invest in emerging systems, cultivate diverse age connections, and continuously update their contextual understanding. This future orientation allows them to anticipate and prepare for evolutionary pressures that eventually eliminate less adaptable competitors. The silent authority, crisis resilience, and transformative adaptability of Capricorns complete their dangerous toolkit. These qualities allow them to exercise influence without creating resistance, maintain effectiveness during disruption, and evolve beyond limitations that constrain others. Together with their strategic patience, emotional control, resource command, and pattern recognition abilities, these attributes create a formidable integration of power rarely matched within the zodiac. What makes Capricorns truly dangerous isn't any single quality, but the synergistic interaction between them. Their patience enables resource accumulation. Their emotional control facilitates strategic relationship building. Their pattern recognition guides effective resource deployment. Their crisis resilience creates opportunities for transformative adaptation. This interconnected system of capabilities generates compound advantages that accumulate over time, creating influence disproportionate to visible effort. Perhaps the most dangerous aspect of Capricorn power lies in its sustainability. Unlike explosive but depleting fire sign, energy, or innovative but scattered air sign brilliance, Capricorn capacity maintains itself through deliberate restoration, strategic conservation, and continuous refinement. This renewable power creates influence that compounds across decades rather than dissipating through overextension, a patient, persistent force that shapes environments through consistent presence rather than dramatic intervention. The 12 dangerous qualities of Capricorn reveal a zodiac sign engineered for sustainable power rather than fleeting influence. While other signs might capture attention through dramatic gestures or charismatic presence, Capricorns build empires through methodical strategy and unwavering determination. Their danger lies not in explosive force, but in inexorable momentum, the patient accumulation of advantage that becomes virtually unstoppable once fully activated. We've explored how their strategic patience allows them to wait for perfect timing, while others rush toward premature action. Their unshakable determination transforms obstacles into stepping stones through persistent refinement rather than brute force application. Their calculated risk assessment eliminates fatal errors that derail less methodical signs, preserving momentum through preservation of resources and reputation. Beyond these foundational strengths, we've seen how Capricorns navigate social landscapes with extraordinary effectiveness. Their elite emotional control reveals nothing until strategic advantage demands it, creating information asymmetry that consistently benefits their position. Their hierarchical mastery positions them at critical power nodes within organizations, allowing maximum influence through minimal visibility. Their selective trust creates profound information imbalances, where they know far more about others than others know about them. We've examined how Capricorns command practical resources with uncommon effectiveness. Their methodical resource accumulation creates reserves that support ambitious operations while surviving disruptions that destroy less prepared competitors. Their pragmatic morality allows difficult decisions that others avoid through ethical absolutism, creating effectiveness while maintaining core integrity. Their pattern recognition identifies systemic vulnerabilities invisible to those focused on surface symptoms rather than structural causes. Finally, we've understood how Capricorns convert potential into impact through leadership presence. Their silent authority commands without demanding, creating influence through substantive contribution rather than positional declaration. Their crisis resilience maintains clarity during chaos, transforming disasters into opportunities while others remain paralyzed by uncertainty. Their transformative adaptability ensures evolutionary survival through periodic reinvention while preserving accumulated advantages. What makes these qualities truly dangerous is their synergistic interaction, a system of capabilities that reinforce and amplify each other through deliberate integration. This creates compound advantages that accumulate over decades, producing influence disproportionate to visible effort. The Capricorn operates as a complete strategic entity, rather than a collection of isolated traits, a unified force designed for sustained impact rather than momentary impression. If you've recognized these qualities in the Capricorns inhabiting your life, or perhaps within yourself, you've glimpsed the formidable power often concealed behind their composed exterior. Understanding these patterns doesn't just satisfy curiosity, it provides practical insight into navigating relationships with one of the zodiac's most consequential signs. This exploration represents just one facet of the cosmic knowledge we uncover at Secret of the Zodiac. If you found value in understanding Capricorn's dangerous qualities, we invite you to join our astrological community by subscribing to our channel. Each subscription supports our mission to illuminate the hidden dimensions of astrological wisdom beyond superficial interpretations found elsewhere. Help us continue this journey by liking this video to signal your appreciation and expand our reach to others seeking deeper zodiacal understanding. Your comments particularly matter. Share which Capricorn quality resonates most strongly with your experience, whether through personal embodiment or observation in others. Type Capricorn power, followed by the quality number that struck you most profoundly, creating a fascinating dataset of which dangerous traits manifest most visibly in our community. For those able to provide additional support, your Super Thanks contributions directly fund our ability to produce daily content of this quality. The production, research, writing, and technical resources required for these in-depth explorations represent significant investment that your contributions help sustain. Every Super Thanks donation, regardless of amount, makes an immediate difference in our ability to continue delivering daily zodiacal insights. Visit our channel page to discover our complete zodiacal analysis series, where we examine each sign through multiple dimensions, from their hidden strengths to their evolutionary challenges to their unique manifestations across life domains. The Capricorn exploration you've just experienced represents one facet of our comprehensive astrological perspective. The cosmos has encoded profound wisdom within each zodiacal archetype. At Secret of the Zodiac, we commit to decoding these celestial messages with depth and precision that honors their complexity. Join us for this continuing journey through the stars, where ancient wisdom illuminates modern understanding